Well, what about that?
These beautiful things that I've
No time to waste, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into this week's episode of The Rendezvous. If you are new around here, this is your source for everything 100 Thieves League of Legends. Yes, I'm pumping this one out immediately after our series against FlyQuest. So do me a favor, smash that subscribe button down below, hit a like, turn on that bell for notifications because I will have videos out each and every week. But oh my god, what a series. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't even gonna try and act like after game one I wasn't a little bit sad because we got blown out in game one. Let me take a step back. Expectations coming into this series, for most, were that FlyQuest were the favorites. Understandably, they should be, given that we have never beaten them in over a year, even if our current skill level was pretty high. There was the whole actual number one versus like perceived number one in North America, which I think was a fair narrative. We'll get into that point later, but we were underdogs coming into this series despite being the number one seed. So when game one happens, when Bwipo gets just a little bit ahead on Cassante because he roams up from play in bot lane, or basically just laning against Jace in bot lane, gets a kill, and then eventually turns in that to a double kill on Sniper and Quid and topside, yeah, this game was over. Like, watching the last 10 minutes of game one was just like, oh god, we really gotta sulk in this. Like, we really gotta deal with this right now. Oh, this could be ugly. This series could be done. And there was like this worry that, yeah, we were crumbling under the pressure, but it's not like we're the only team that's ever lost a game one to FlyQuest when they look good. I think the unsung hero of this entire series was actually Fearless Draft, and the fact that we did not have to play against Cassante again, and that Corki was like done. I got into like between game one and game two with some people on Twitter. They were like, Corki's not a useless champion. Yeah, but in this situation, in this draft, in this game, it was useless. So I'm gonna say it was useless. That doesn't mean it can't be useful in other times, but at least in this specific game, we had nothing going for us whatsoever. So I went to let the dogs out. I come back and I see the draft for game two, and I'm not gonna lie to you, based on how game one went, I'm terrified. Like, and anybody in their right mind should have looked at game two's draft and been terrified of what was going to happen for 100 Thieves in this game. But the fact that we managed to keep on the entire time was amazing. And this was not like the crux with this game was like we needed to either like smash it open or win by like a million different paper cuts. But the moment that FlyQuest gets a lead with their comp over us, we are useless. We could not let that happen at any point in time. So there were multiple obstacles throughout game two that happened. We did have oopsie moments. We did have times where like they were able to claw it back from what was otherwise like promising starts for us. We could not let it get like just above that little misstep, and somehow we never did, which was our biggest flaw for a year now. Whether it was Micha ADC, whether it was Ayla, or not Ayla, Jesus Christ, Tomo at ADC, even FBI, like in earlier points of this year, despite us looking good, like it never felt like we'd overcome that hurdle, which was once you get a lead and you have a comp that you need to snowball ahead, despite us being the bloodiest team, like we could not get over that hump. And to be able to do it in this game was massive. Now, I know people are going to look at that Akali play from Quid and be like, Akali MVP. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think Quid has the best series all day. Like, I actually think he was our weakest player on the day, which is wild to say. In the two games that we won, Sniper and Ayla just popped off. FBI was Mr. Consistent the entire way through, but Ayla was setting up plays. Sniper was absorbing a lot of pressure and doing what he needed to do. Quid, unironically, was out of position a lot of times, had some iffy TPs in that Akali game, had some 1v, or I think like 2v1 deaths where it was like, But if that's the lowest that we're going to see Quid, and we can still beat FlyQuest with Quid not playing like phenomenally well all series, and him still showing up in the moments where it matters, like the Akali this game, amazing. But game two, it like should really go down in 100 Thieves history as possibly the game that cements Sniper as a great top laner in this league. It was the thing that we had not seen him do for a long period of time, which is he just couldn't get the better of Bwipo. Bwipo was always his daddy. I mean, you go and check like the game one post-match thread, and it was a lot of comments about Bwipo and sniper. And to have that reversed in game 2 so severely to the point where the Gnar did win us that game, was setting up so many plays, was catching Yone out, was solo killing Whippo. It was amazing. It was exactly what we needed to see from Sniper. And if we were going to beat FlyQuest, the big X factor that we had from the beginning of the day was, can Sniper step up? And he did massively in this game. And that's what ended up allowing us to win. Go to game 3. Everybody's nervous, a bit on pins and needles. We draft more traditional. We've seen Quid on the Victor. We've seen FBI play Misfortune quite well. Jax for Snipers, very much comfort. Against the Garen, a little bit iffy. But the first 10 minutes of this game just went perfectly for us in every way, shape, or form. That I was watching it on stream with the live view and got weirdly quiet because it was okay, is this happening? But then we start throwing it. Just a little bit. Quig gets caught out 1 or 2 times. River was notably falling way behind Inspired. Inspired was doing his power farm thing and getting them back into this game. But we had a comp that's okay, if we can just keep getting picks, we're fine. River went on a magical journey to freaking Narnia in one of these fights, which ended up costing us, but we were still able to get things back on the backside. It felt like we were fighting back in a way that we had not previously. I am talking so fast. Holy shit. I apologize if you have to watch this video at 0.75 speed. But every time that it felt like something was going against us, we had a way to claw back, and we kept fighting and fighting and fighting and doing the thing that makes 100 Thieves League and this iteration of the roster so much freaking fun to watch. Is even when they have those oopsie moments that we always have, we find a way back in. And they did in this game. We chucked what was a gold lead. We were able to turn it into a pickoff, which turned into Baron and Otacon. We then wasted Otacon after that, which kind of sucked. But that was more on FlyQuest doing a good job of TPing behind us and stopping us from backing and doing what they needed to do in that moment than it was us necessarily misplaying it. But then that turns into a great fight for us, even after we give up Soul, just making sure that we're constantly pressuring the map. Snipers getting side lane pressure. We then collapse on somebody, get a kill, get somebody caught out, whether it's Flippo or somebody else. It was perfect. And the culmination of a year's worth of losing to FlyQuest, of getting absolutely bodied by them, just comes to fruition. And now we are 1 series away from qualifying for the first international tournament of the year in First Stand. All we have to do is beat TL or C9, which I'm recording this early, so I'm not going to know who we are playing. So I'll give a quick preview of both of those prior to me going into the drama that surrounds today as well. Personally, from a narrative point of view, I would like to play Cloud9. We have yet to play them in a full best of 5 or best of 3 in this case in the season. I think C9 is looking a lot better than Team Liquid at the current moment, especially given that we've already beaten Team Liquid as well. I just want to see a full series of that. I want to see both teams playing at their absolute peak and trying to qualify for that event. Us getting over the C9 hurdle in a best of 5 like that, or at least getting the rematch for what was the World's Qualification Series last summer, would be just an amazing storyline through and through. That said, every time that we play against Team Liquid, it's a banger, regardless of whether it's close, whether it's a blowout in terms of series score. It is just always bloody and fun, and I would love to see it again. So I have no preference on who I would want to play out of these two. I think C9 is a matchup that they try to get ahead early, which in theory should nullify us a little bit more, whereas TL is more about team play and coordination, which seems to be off for them. So if you're picking a team that is realistically going to beat 100 Thieves or stand a better chance at beating 100 Thieves, I think that is C9. But TL, either way, I'm feeling good. We are the number 1 seed in the region. We just took out the perceived best team in the region. And now, yeah, we should be favorites going into the series regardless of who we play. But speaking of that, Mauk, who you might remember was the same person that in the offseason said, look, if you're trying to be a fan of long-term League of Legends, you should probably go to either FlyQuest or C9, is back in the headlines today. Honest to God, taking away from the moment a little bit, tweeting out about the broadcast and how we are basically not the number 1 seed and the casters need to learn what a number 1 seed is. Look, we've already touched on this and that. I think it's fine to acknowledge that FlyQuest were the favorites, that we have to overcome this hurdle against them that we have never overcome up until this point. But I will also acknowledge, and many others will tell you that, yeah, broadcast has always had a problem of being more inherently biased towards the perceived favorites regardless of seeding. then I mean it's just kind of always been the way. There is bias, and for the longest time there has never been like a vocal supporter of 100 Thieves on the, like, this is a problem that resides since like 2018. So like a lot of what people were saying in this moment is residual feelings from prior years, not applicable to what is actually happening right now, because I don't think the narrative against 100 Thieves today was really egregious in any way, shape, or form, especially after we got pummeled in game 1. But for Malk, I will say, like, now's not the time, brother. You want to have this conversation next week? Fine, let's have it then. But picking a fight with the broadcast, and I know this probably doesn't affect our ability to stay in the LTA and like be a team, given that we sold our slot to Riot and Riot could remove us and in favor of somebody else to come in and pay the slot for the LTA. Like, we're not in the position right now, in my opinion, to be going at broadcast talent. I think once you sign a long-term deal, then maybe, but just understand the politics of this situation, which is just shut your mouth, quite honestly, until like we have grounds to stand on. And if anybody's going to open their mouth about this, it probably shouldn't be you of all people. All this is going to do is turn people against 100 Thieves, or at least turn some of the Twitter conversation against 100 Thieves, which is just annoying. And I don't want, like, everybody should be high on us after this game, and now this is going to detract from it, regardless of what people say. Like, oh, maybe it won't, maybe it's just like him being an idiot on Twitter. It's like, you don't know how fickle sports Twitter is after a major loss or win. It's always like this, and this could turn the tide against people. It's just like, oh, just stop. Don't say this shit. Don't pick these fights. Let the moment be on Sniper, on everybody else. You don't got to say anything like that. Like, if I just let me fight your battles for you, if that's the case. Like, dude, I don't get it. I don't. Why now of all times? Just fucking, we didn't even win. We didn't win the entire thing. We beat FlyQuest in the semifinal. Like, it's not done yet. Shut your mouth. But don't let that take away from what is an incredible day for 100 Thieves. One of the most important wins that we've had in a bit, kind of cementing us as one of the top teams in the region, the clear #1 seed going into finals tomorrow, which again, if you were not aware, we are going to be watching it. I will be at Playwright NYC watching tomorrow in this jersey, hyped as hell, cheering, screaming loud as shit. You best believe it's going to be a good time. We're going to have the 100 Thieves hype squad going. If you want to show up, it's entirely free. Come on by. The only thing that we ask is that you buy like food or drinks from the venue itself, pay back to them because they are giving us a place to watch this, and we do owe it to their time since they're going to have staff and everybody else there. Beyond that, to everybody that came through on stream, to everybody that sent messages on Twitter, thank you for your support. Thank you for cheering on 100 Thieves. I hope you're proud of the team. I hope you're enjoying the content around all this. Man, has it been a fun day. So let's continue it into tomorrow. Reset, collect yourselves. We've got a best of 5, full fearless, against 2 of the best teams in this region. Do not let the euphoria of this moment take away from locking the hell in for tomorrow. Let's go to Korea. 1 best of 5, that's all it takes. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you later.